No Name Games, episode 3.
We made it.
The,
Again.
The heroes of episode 2 live for another episode.
The heroes.
I wanted to clarify something that people that listen to us are probably like, well, who are these guys? And you've probably been thinking that anyway. And we refer to each other as F-Coast and Manny Fresh. But F-Coast also has AKA Tigre. So I've said it already a few times.
Yeah.
And I've never really said what it is. But so F-Coast is also AKA Tigre. And Manny Fresh is just AKA Manny. So if you hear us say that, you'll know who we're talking about. Mine's easy, but his is harder.
Mine is harder? Why?
Yeah, because yours is a totally different name. Manny is just a nickname of Manny Fresh, right? Manny's just Manny Fresh short.
So but one question, but if I look for you online as Manny Fresh, I will find Manny Fresh.
Right, but you might also find Manny, M-A-N-N-I, which is also me.
Because if you look for Tigre, you won't find Tigre.
No, unless
But
you
if
look
you
at
look
the
for
Dominican Republic.
F-Coast, no. It's going to be a mess of
It's
everybody.
going to be a mess of everybody.
Say, yeah, I'm Tigre.
Yeah, I'm Tigre. But if I look for F-Coast, that's very unique. I don't think... I mean, you're the only one I know, F-Coast.
Oh, well, there's a church in Sydney.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what you're named after?
No,
Did you
it's
take the
not.
name of... Okay.
No, we can talk about that in a different
Another episode? Okay.
Pero my name, the initials of F-Coast are in Sydney something that is called Evangelical Formerson Church of Sydney.
Oh wow! So it's all the letters of the name.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. My name is not that cool. My name is just Manny Fresh because I thought Manny Fresh was a cool name.
Why fresh?
Because
Porque tú eres un freco.
because yo soy un freco, and because at the time I think so there was a producer out there called Manny Fresh at the same time. So we but I kind of started calling myself Manny Fresh before him, but we won't admit to that. He probably won't admit to that. But that was also one of my AOL screen names. So that's the history of that.
Okay.
So I just dated myself again, going back to AOL 1.0, my screen name.
Well, I never did AOL.
But AOL did you.
By my original nickname in IRC was Cerberus.
Nice.
Or Cerberus.
Cerberus, yeah. Cerberus. That's so cool. Well, so Cerberus is it looks kind of like the dog in Dark Souls 3 on the bridge. Now that I think about it,
Yeah,
which is
a mythological.
It's a mythological creature, and Dark Souls 3 has some really great music, which is a perfect segue that I totally set up for myself to talk about the music of games.
Yeah,
Yay!
this is our topic this week.
So our topic this week is games, not names, games. And we're going to talk a little bit.
That was smooth.
You like that?
That was
I
smooth.
totally set that up. That's my strategy here, to set stuff up and you just slam dunk. I have here some notes that I took on the history of music and games. Now, we're going to touch on music. We're going to touch on a lot of different things about music and sound. So,
Well, referring to that, yes, we're going to talk music and sound. I think sound also deserves an episode in the future,
probably.
but they're obviously very related. So
Yeah, and the reason why we have to talk about sound first is because in the evolution of music, the first games of the late 70s during the golden age of arcade games, and even what you might consider second generation consoles. And if you don't know what second generation consoles are, think of the fact that we're in the 8th generation now with PS4 and Xbox One. So it's been a hot minute since the second generation.
So the second generation, what console is it?
So that's your Atari 2600. Those are your early Ataris, your Colecos. That's going way back. Late 70s, early 80s. Right.
Well, my first one was the NES. What?
Right. So that would have been 4th generation.
Oof.
Yeah. So a couple generations away. But you're not too bad. That's like right dead smack in the middle, or right before the middle, if you consider that on a scale. So you got in right at a good time, I think. I think you missed all the bad stuff.
Really?
I mean, it's not bad. It's nostalgic. And
It
that's
seems
part of-
like the most iconic stuff. I
It's
know
super
the
iconic.
NES,
You know?
Mario and all that, but the Pong.
Well, stop right
games.
there.
Galaga,
Pong is
all
exactly
of that.
Pong is exactly what we're talking about here. These games were made or the music behind the games were made by these synthetic chips, and these synthetic chips only produced, a few sounds. So most games were either silent altogether, or they contained little beeps and boops, like the one you're doing right now. So Atari's Pong, and that was before really games and music started to change and evolve.
I actually remember. Did you ever code?
I did. I did basic in middle school.
Okay, basic. So when I was in middle school and high school, I used to code a little. I was very interested in coding. Then I derailed to design and all that. But I remember that I was doing basic, and I discovered how to make sounds, not out of the video,
the sound card,
but out of the, my PC didn't have a sound card. My very first PC didn't have a sound card even, and it had like a little speaker in the tower. I don't know what was connected to. Probably directly to this chip.
It's directly connected to the motherboard that had a synthetic chip on it.
So the chip will generate these sounds, and I remember it was like
yeah.
And I would like program different. I was experimenting doing like different kinds of software, stupid software, like learning software.
Yeah, all the software back then was all learning software. Yeah, most of it, and games. Simple.
I remember that the loading. When you open the software, basically, I always made like a sequence of sounds.
Nice. Well, and that's why you also designed the sound for the podcast.
Oh yeah,
because you know all about the sound.
Oh yeah.
So you definitely took those skills. So thank you.
Credits rolling.
Yeah, we're keeping on going here. Put it on the resume, man. I think it's awesome.
Let us know if you guys like it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things where the sound is so important. The sound is so iconic. The sound is so part of the stamp of the atmosphere of the show and of anything that you do. You were talking about games just now, again, about the games that you were playing. Well, not playing, but programming and working with those learning software modules from BASIC. I remember those too. I used to write code, BASIC, C for like Lemonade Stand. and we would write endless loops for Lemonade Stand. We would play some music on Lemonade Stand. Not music again, these beeps and boops. And then we would also, try to really tinker with those games and those programs to get at why certain things would happen when you pick certain things. Lemonade Stand, I don't know if you remember that game, but it was basically you have a lemonade stand and you're selling lemonade. And what you have to do is you have to predict what the weather's going to be like. So it's really weird.
What was that sound?
That pop?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's maybe it was the soda popping from all the way down there.
That's cool.
So Lemonade
sound
Stand.
Effects here.
Yeah, we got sound effects coming from all over the place. We have some that we haven't even planned that are coming. But getting back to Lemonade Stand, you basically are creating a business with lemonade, and the only thing that you really have to go on is what day of the week it is and what the weather is. That's it. So you have to decide where your inventory is going to be, how many lemons you want to buy, how many cups you want to buy, and then you can spend all your money on buying a lot of stock, but then if it rains, you sell nothing and you lose the game. So this is my first experience with coding, and it was a game, but it was also a business. So you can see where I went with that in my career, which is pretty interesting.
Maybe.
Yeah, one day I'll torture you with it.
Awesome.
But going back to the evolution with beeps and boops, the next evolution would be dynamic sound, so dynamic music. And there are a lot of examples out there of what might be considered the first game that had dynamic sound or dynamic music, but the one that comes to mind for me pretty easily is RBI Baseball in 1987. And what I mean
remember that game.
Remember that game? That was such a good game. Remember dynamic tracks now in this environment move and flow with the rhythm of the game. So if you hit a pop fly or if you hit an out, the music changes. Or if the sides change during the innings, the music changes. When you're looking at the scoreboard, the music changes. So it was really an interesting game. And of course the music, and I mean music as these MIDI sounds, they were the precursor to obviously what we have today and all these fantastic games. But that was the first time that music would change in an environment. Think about the games we have today and how music changes and what it does to you.
A lot. I mean,
Physically,
here's the thing about that. There's several things about that. Is that before talking about RBI baseball, and this is a game that had probably a very limited amount of channels for the sound. So every time the music's playing and something else happens, a channel from the music has to turn off in order for this sound effects
to turn on.
Yeah. So you can really tell in this. There's limitations in the technology there. So that's the achievements of these people with such limitations and create games that last basically forever. I mean, probably we could play RBI baseball right now and we'll have ton of fun. I mean, now with the Nintendo thing that we bought, the online Nintendo Online.
Oh yeah, we'll probably get a chance to play it again.
Yeah, but
you know what
the
reminds
games
me?
we're playing now that are like from the 80s.
A good example of what you're
still
saying
having a lot
is
of fun.
Zelda. Right?
Yeah, Zelda.
The sound that it makes.
When you have low health in Zelda, there's the little alarm. Blue, 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 blue. Oh, I don't know if that's the right sound.
Yeah. I think that was pretty close.
Yeah, you can really tell the music of the world it changes because it turns off a channel in order to make
turn on another. Even when you walk into a dungeon,
exactly.
You know, and that's the best part of Zelda.
That's very cool. The other thing about dynamic music is that when we talk about music in games, we say soundtrack, right? So we kind of relate that, or that terms we related also to movies.
Yeah,
but
all other types of media that have soundtracks.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But in games, there's a difference. There's an interactive component to soundtracks in games, because in a movie, I will show you a scene. It's gonna be I know what I'm gonna be showing because that's, as a director, if you will, that's the scene the shot that I'm showing, and I will hire a musician, a composer to make music to tailor to the feeling that I want to give the audience with the music. Right. Game is the same, but you never know where the camera is gonna be pointing at, and you never know what the player is going to be doing. Right. So there's so many possibilities of music that can trigger, the music that can be triggered. So we see games that have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tracks in order to cover for all of the possibilities they can think of that the user is going to be, pursuing. And it's more of music. We talk about sound design, but it's also like music design in a sense.
Correct. Yeah, it is. That's a really good way to put it. Music design.
It's very cool.
If you think about what a horror movie does to you with music, exactly. And I mean, let's just compare two things that are kind of similar but exist in different genres. So a horror movie and Resident Evil, which is a scary video game. Right. My wife reminded me of this, and we were talking about this, and she's like, "Yeah, go watch a horror movie and turn off the sound and tell me if you're scared." Yeah. And I realized that, of course, I wouldn't be scared. So she makes a really good point. It's the same with games. It's the same with games, except I think that because you're still in control of the character, you might still be a little bit scared because you're actually worried about your character's health. Oh yeah, and whether they're gonna die or
you
not.
are the character.
You are, yeah.
A little bit of you.
A little bit of you is in the avatar, right? So in a movie, you don't have any. I mean, you are emotionally tied to the guy that's getting, the guy in the Jason movie that goes, "I'm gonna go out to the car and get some bap going, and I'll be right back." And it's like the guy's gonna die.
Have you seen this guy or this girl? I'm not really sure. That he made a video on YouTube that talking about the Souls games. It was probably Dark Souls 3 or it was Bloodborne. I don't clearly remember, but he or she was talking about how turning off the music during the boss fight made the game easier.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's impressive, and that made me make me be very aware of whenever I'm playing a boss or I'm doing something in a game. Like for example, I play Destiny 2 with my friends, and we are in a crazy situation of tons of enemies. We're doing like a challenging adventure or whatever. The music that I'm very like now conscious of. This music is playing, and I'm analyzing how is this music stressing me up to make this thing, this adventure, this mission, whatever, more difficult.
Yeah, it's a sensory experience, and it totally stresses you. And you probably know this, but World of Warcraft players that play at a very high level don't play with the music on. We don't play with the music on because it's
sad when I go to Twitch.
Yeah.
And I see people playing games, and they're playing something else, like hip hop or electronic music,
and all streamers do it. Yeah,
it's
most streamers have a jukebox, where you can request songs.
Yeah,
and or have the background music really low. It's rare that you find streamers that are actually playing the sounds of the, or they'll be playing the sounds, but not the soundtrack behind the game or the music behind the game. But yeah, so I mean, I think that's. Really a really interesting part of music, and it does create that atmosphere, and that atmosphere is really what's going to define your gaming experience. Whether you have a good memory of that game, because let's face it, it's not just visually what you see with the game that stays with you, but it's also how it made you feel, and the music plays such a big part of that. And I'm thinking right now of The Last of Us. And I'm thinking of a specific part of that game where you cannot deny that we're both gonna cry down, man. You can't deny what the music does, and that entire game is a great game and a great example of music and how it can create atmosphere.
Well, spoiler alert.
Spoiler
alert. But when Joel sees that his daughter got shot.
Yeah.
And the music plays.
Yeah, it's just too much, man.
Jesus, man.
It's just too much, and you've invested so much. That's an emotional investment too. We talk about emotional investments, and you asked Troppy P during episode 2. Why would you go see a movie? What's the difference between seeing a movie and seeing a game? There are a lot of similarities. We do get emotionally invested in the characters in movies, but in games, you are that. Like what you said earlier, you are that character. So. Yeah. It hurts a little bit more.
Even more when RPGs and all that. That's even you custom. I mean, it's more you than just a character that's given to you.
Yep.
Because you put too much into it.
Yeah. So we actually put together a list of our top.
Well, I want to go back to the history of it. Okay. I want to talk about something interesting that happened with Nintendo specifically, because. You have Nintendo as the main console, then Sega Genesis. Well, not then, but at the same time, they were like competing. At least in DR when I was.
Yeah, and here in the United States too, it was Nintendo versus Genesis.
But then came the PlayStation Sega, and the Sega CD. Mm-hmm. That higher, I don't know what number of console generation.
I guess that would be almost fifth.
Yeah, we're talking about probably the 32-bit.
Yeah, the Sega 32 and all of that stuff.
So, music changed there because before.
So you're not done with the evolution?
Oh no, I'm not done.
Okay.
But because before, it was MIDI, if you will, with like 4 or 6 channels. I don't know the numbers, but it was basically MIDI sound.
Oh, MIDI, yes.
Yeah, MIDI. So. And then the PlayStation came out, and then the other consoles, Dreamcast, PC, what was the other one? Sega CD, then Xbox. All that with those consoles, more advanced consoles, the game developers switched to have actual tracks, like record music, record voice, record. For some reason, Nintendo stick to MIDI for a long time.
Oh yeah,
for a long time. I'm talking about games that came out for Wii U and all that.
Yeah, I mean,
and they stuck to MIDI. And when I heard the most recent soundtrack for the Mario Odyssey game, not the most recent soundtrack. I don't know why I say that, but the soundtrack for Mario Odyssey, which was music, like recorded music with instruments. It was so refreshing, and it was also a different tone to what I was used to with Nintendo games.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I think there's even an homage kind of to music in Odyssey, because remember that quest where you're basically in Kong City, right? Is it Kong City? And you're putting together the band.
Yeah,
and you're going to get the trumpet player, you're going to get the sax player, the drummer, and you're putting them together, and then they play. There's a concert for you, and then you're rewarded with one of the most rewarding game experiences, I think, in a short while, or maybe a long while. But that's being able to play, in that side scroller for almost the duration of the rest of that level, which is so good. So I think that there's a lot to be said about that type of evolution in the music. I mean, it's really cool, and Nintendo does a really good job. They do a really good job of sticking to their soundtracks, but they also do a really good job of being able to adapt and pick up some new sounds.
Yeah, it's interesting how everything went out, everything happened, and it's like looking at this very simple sound like Pong. Doop, doop,
right.
Doop, doop.
But that was rewarding enough.
Because
that's all the game did.
Yeah.
So that's all
it was enough for it. Yeah. But then, you go back, looking back from now where we have full orchestras.
Yeah.
Recording the songs for a game, which it's amazing. That's
which is your favorite orchestra right now?
I don't have specific names of orchestras.
No, but I mean, like, which song version by whatever orchestra. I mean, it doesn't matter.
There's so many.
Yeah, the one that I keep listening to that is driving my wife crazy is the Zelda orchestra, which is the Swedish symphony.
Yeah.
And it's the Zelda suite.
Well, have you heard the Elder Scrolls suite? Or I don't know if it's suite, but there's an Elder Scroll Online. Not online, because Elder Scroll Online is a game. There's an Elder Scroll orchestra on YouTube. That's so mind blowing. I don't know the name specifically of it or whatever, but games that have orchestrated, like full on orchestra, because there's a lot of games that have electronic music and different kinds of music.
Blizzard does a really great job of putting an orchestra together and putting a choir together.
But the Bungie people are amazing. Especially for me, Destiny 1 was very impressive.
Yeah.
Well, Destiny 2 has a great soundtrack too, but
they have a history of just great soundtracks.
Yeah, Destiny 1 is amazing. Also, it's the Dark Souls and the Souls games in general.
Oh yeah,
Bloodborne, Dark Souls.
Well, that symphony, that piece that you showed me of you said Cleric Beast, was it? From Bloodborne?
Yeah.
Yeah, that part, that is amazing. That whole thing is amazing.
It's mind blowing.
It's just mind blowing. Yeah. If anybody has a chance to hear that, I would highly recommend either you listen to the Zelda Symphony Suite, Swedish Symphony. It's a Zelda Suite. So there's a couple of different songs in there from all the different games, and that Cleric Beast from Bloodborne is just. I mean, if you really want something to. If you want to listen to something when you get in your car in the morning and you're going to go to work, this may or may not be your best song.
It depends.
It just depends on your mood and your personality. But yeah, it's really, really cool.
Well, I'm going to do an attempt for a smooth transition now, I did. Yeah. So, because we're talking about our favorite symphonies or orchestras of music for games. So... the transition is to go to the topic I kind of interrupted you on starting.
No, that's totally good.
Our lists of our favorite soundtracks.
Yeah, and I think our list also touches... Our list is kind of historic. At least mine is. It kind of touches on some of the history and then gets a little bit more modern.
Mine too.
Yeah,
I kind of...
Do you start from like the we'll see. I want to be surprised.
More than a top 5, I'm going to say... it's not in order in terms of my number 5 is
whatever.
my least
Yeah.
favorite of it.
Right.
My top 5, I actually did it more in a
Chronological
way.
Mine is done chronologically, but it's totally by coincidence.
Okay.
It's totally by coincidence. Maybe that's just how I just felt like they all fit.
Yeah.
But
My number 1, however, my number 1 is my number 1 soundtrack
of all time.
of all time.
Okay.
So,
All right. So
do you have an honorable mention?
I do have an honorable mention because I had it in there before.
I feel like I want to have like 20 honorable mentions.
Yeah, I probably
and
have 1,000
can't.
honorable mentions.
Yeah.
But
But
we'll
I'm
just
just gonna have one.
okay. I'll have one too then.
Cool.
That's fair. You get one, I get one.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll share my number 5, and then you share yours. How about that?
Awesome.
All right, cool. So my number 5, I'm just gonna start playing it. Again? This is nostalgia for me.
I have no clue what
You
that
have no clue
is.
what this is, do you? I'll give you a clue. Okay. After his defeat, Dr. Wily created 8 of his own robots to counter this guy.
No clue.
No?
Nope. I have no idea what that is.
Do you know who Dr. Wily is?
No.
Oh, Dr. Wily is the nemesis of Mega Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That old guy with the white hair?
Yeah.
Oh,
Dr. Wily, man.
damn.
Yeah. And that part right there, that really fast part,
Oh, Mega Man was so cool. You know, there's a new Mega Man game, right?
is there?
I think I saw
There
at
might be.
E3. I saw a new game from Mega Man.
Mega
It's
Man 2.
really
That was
cool.
Mega Man 2 soundtrack, by the way.
Mega
Not
Man
one.
2 is the most famous one, right?
Ah.
Like the most. There's even an iPhone version of Mega Man 2.
Really?
For some reason, I see it all over the place.
Okay,
Mega
well
Man
then maybe I didn't know that, but that's really cool. I'm glad it
That's
does
the one
get
that has like
respect it deserves.
the air robot.
Yeah, there's Bubble Man, there's like
Yeah.
Grass Man, there's like Wood Man.
It's so awesome
Yeah.
because you had to actually do it in order.
No, actually, you know what I figured out? Well, yeah, for some
Well, not
bosses-
have to,
right.
but there's one. Let's say Bubble Man. Let's
Yeah.
say that's the first one you do.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure that the power you get from him
Helps
is the
you kill the other
weakness.
guy. Yeah, exactly.
the
So
other
that's
guy.
what you want to do.
Yeah.
Bubble Man's great because he shoots those bubbles and they kind of have an arc to them.
Yeah.
So you can use him for multiple bosses. But yeah, absolutely.
But that
man.
other music of the main menu,
Yeah.
that's so iconic.
Yeah.
Ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding.
Yeah, I almost want to just have that song, with
that's
me all
so
the time.
cool.
I don't know. It's
Have
weird.
you seen live bands playing that?
No, I need to
So
watch.
cool.
And that's the other thing. I need to get in. I haven't seen this live yet. Any Nintendo Symphony, so I need to do that. All right,
Awesome.
what's your number 5?
Okay, my number 5, I'm just gonna play it. You're gonna recognize it right away.
Okay.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know what this is.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
You're kidding me.
No, I don't
Te
know.
está haciendo loco.
No,
You don't know what that is?
no. What is that?
Well, this is one of my all-time favorite games.
Okay. Was this a Nintendo game?
Yes, it's
So
an
this-
NES
wait, wait.
game, and the developer is Nintendo.
Okay, so is this this is not Bomberman, is it?
Nope. It's a sci-fi game.
Oh, that's Final Fantasy.
No,
No?
This
What
is
that?
Nintendo. I'm saying this is
Oh,
Nintendo.
Nintendo. I don't know.
This is Metroid.
Oh, that's the first Metroid.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't remember the music from Metroid Prime. I remember the music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a thing because
It's
I played Metroid 1, 2, and 3, which was, I think the correct order of them was that Metroid 1 was the NES game, Metroid 2 was the Game Boy one,
right,
and Metroid 3 was Super Metroid.
right.
And that was it. I never played a Metroid game after those, but for some
Well,
reason...
Super Metroid was awesome.
Oh,
Super
Super
Metroid
Metroid
is
is
awesome.
my,
That's the one I
one of
probably
my
played the
all-time
most,
favorite
actually.
games. Oh, this is so good.
Yeah.
I still play it. So, first, I never had, the gap in gaming that I have is that I have, just to remind our audience, I'm a weird gamer here because
Yeah, we have a fund for FCOS. It's called the Gaming Gap Fund. If you can donate to us, just send us money. It's to really help him fill the gap in between Atari and Nintendo that he never had.
Well, no, it's the gap. I never had the Atari. Well, we had Atari, but it was my big brother who had it basically.
Right.
I had an NES, and after NES, I never had a gaming
Oh, that's right.
console until PS3.
Until PS3.
Basically.
Okay.
I had a PC, very bad PC that I
Right.
barely could run.
Right. I
Doom.
remember. I remember.
So I played Metroid. I actually had a Game Boy too. So I played Metroid in NES, Metroid 2 in Game Boy. Super Metroid, I actually played it years and years after later because I got it on emulator.
Yeah.
And I finished it that way.
Oh my
but
god, the emulators.
I
We have
never
a-
played the
let's talk about
Prime
emulators.
games,
You never played the Prime games? They're so good.
which are
God,
amazing.
they're amazing. Yeah.
But for some reason, it made such an impact on me,
Mm-hmm.
the Metroid, that I am completely faithful to that
To that
brand,
franchise
if
or
you
that
will.
brand?
To
To
that
Samus.
franchise. Yeah.
You're faithful to her. Let's just be
You know,
real.
Metroid
You love
Prime
Samus.
4 is Metroid Prime 4 is coming out, and I have no clue, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it's Metroid. And
Yeah.
this music is such a, what you were saying, it's the nostalgia.
It's the
that you
nostalgia
get.
factor, yeah.
When
That
you
Mega
hear
Man
that
2
song-
sound, when I hear that, it just takes me all the way back to sitting in my grandma's apartment, sitting in front of the TV,
Oh, yeah.
and just playing Metroid
Well,
2 all
that
day.
teaser that they did with Prime 4
Yeah.
that plays this sound.
Yeah.
This
Okay,
song,
so that's the teaser that they. Okay, so I didn't really connect the dots, but you just
it's
connected them
kind
for
of
me.
like a variation
Yeah.
of it, but it is that.
It's
it
not
is
as
this,
MIDI as that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it is.
but it is this.
It's got
and
some
I'm like,
depth.
oh shit!
Yeah. Okay. I get it now. All right. So here's my number 4. You're not gonna guess this
Okay.
because I think not a lot of people would know what this is, but if you do know, you're gonna know it right away.
Is that NES? That's Sega.
This is actually I played this
PC?
on the Sega Genesis.
Sega.
I played this on the Sega Genesis, and I also played this in the arcade.
It actually reminds me of a game that's called Jackal.
You know, it does sound a little bit like
Jackal?
Jackal. It does sound a
Jackal?
little bit like Jackal.
Like Jackal. It's Jackal.
Oh, but listen to the breakdown.
My bad English. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Talk about dynamic. That's Golden Axe 2. So yeah, I love Golden Axe. I love all the
Axe?
Golden Axe.
Axe.
Yeah. So in Golden Axe, you get to pick a warrior, a wizard. I'm sorry. Well, she's also like a warrior, but she has magic, and the magic that she has is the most damaging magic in the game, and a little dwarf fighter. So you get to pick one of these 3 guys, and you have to basically go through the entire game with one of these guys.
Oh, it reminds me of this game that's called Trine.
It's a side scroller.
Yeah.
It's a side scroller in the way that like Double Dragon is, or all
Yeah.
those old games. It was a great arcade game, and that I used to play this game to beat it, and then just restart it and beat it again. I mean, I used to love this game so much. By the way, the dwarf is a hack. You can just do his little spin move on almost every guy, just by pressing A and B together, and like no one will ever touch you. You'll have all your life all the time. But it gets boring
Damn.
doing it that way.
Well, but when you hear the music now,
Yeah.
how do you?
Oh, I mean, it
Amazing.
feels. I mean, I kind of cheated like you and got an emulator a while back and played the crap out of it again. But yeah, I mean, it makes me feel great. It makes me feel like
it takes you back.
it takes
to
me
those
back.
Times,
It takes me
man.
back. It makes me want to play it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the best thing about the songs.
Well,
is that
there's
I
a
feel
lot.
like playing them.
There's a lot of games that I play because of the music.
Yeah.
Like right now, actually,
Right
in
now.
actual times. I can talk about ESO, the
Yeah.
Brown game.
The Brown game, yeah. But the music in ESO
I just play it
amazing,
for the music. I mean,
the atmosphere.
yeah.
And the visuals are
So
great. I mean, I call it the brown game because it's a lot of dark brown tones. By the way, the audience is like, "What do you mean the brown game?" The brown game is just because a lot of the armor is like brown and
Yeah.
leathery and like it's hide and it's not it's not shiny.
Especially in Skyrim.
And
it's
also
very
because
brown.
and Skyrim is the same way. I'm used to my eyes have gotten accustomed to World of Warcraft and Blizzard's type games
More
like
colorful.
Overwatch. They're so colorful. The colors are vibrant. They can be dull if they want to be, but they're usually not. So yeah. So what's your number 4?
My number 4. I'm just gonna play it.
Okay.
This is one track of many, but this one seems to be okay. Just to clarify, I have one track of this game here, which seems to be the most popular online.
Okay.
For some reason, there's a lot of guys playing it on guitar, bands playing it, and everything. But when I include this game, I'm including the
Entire game series.
There's like 3 parts.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 3
Well,
parts.
you give me a lot of clues then.
I'm including all of the games because the music for me was just so amazing.
All right, I'm gonna try to guess this. I'll tell you what. You were playing all the games that I wasn't playing.
You were playing fantasy games.
Yeah,
I was
and
playing.
You were playing shooters, shoot 'em ups.
Well, this is Ninja Gaiden.
Oh, that's Ninja Gaiden. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. I really like the song from Ninja Gaiden 2. That's
Which
the
one?
one. I mean, we can just play it because we'll use that as like my honorable mention then, because you know, I'll actually save my honorable mention for later. But let's see, Ninja Gaiden 2 theme.
But you're talking about the main theme?
Yeah, I'm talking about the main theme. Yes. This thing.
There you go.
The Dark Sword of Chaos. And the lightning.
Yeah, now the lightning.
Now the lightning. Cue the lightning. This one kind of takes a minute to pick up. But it's
The
only
drums.
a minute long. Yeah. Tecmo was badass. If you can't see us,
so
but we're
good.
dancing.
I was so.
And we're good dancers.
I love the music in those games.
That game was eye-opening in a lot of different ways.
It's so hard too.
Oh yeah, but that's what was fun about it too, because I'm like, I'm gonna make that jump. That stupid bat is not gonna hit me again
exactly.
this time, and I'm not gonna fall and plummet to my death for the 500th time. Okay, here's my number 3. This one's gonna be easy. Everyone's gonna get this one, but I spent a lot of time in front of this machine, winning.
Wait.
You know this.
I don't know this.
Okay,
What is that?
I'll give you one clue.
Okay. It doesn't sound like the games you like.
Hadouken.
Is that Street Fighter?
That's Street Fighter 2. Yeah.
Oh man, how did
Yeah.
I miss that?
Yeah, I think that you might have thought that it was another like obscure arcade game, because a lot of the games kind of have that same sound, but this one is very specific in how it starts, like from the very beginning. It's deliberate and it's bang 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 bang. It's like, okay, gotcha, Street Fighter, you're off.
How did I miss that? I played
It's okay. I'll give you a
Street
mulligan.
Fighter so much.
I'll give you a mulligan. All right, what's your number 3?
Number 3, and yeah, you're gonna recognize this
Okay.
right away. Oh, come on, man. Really? You're gonna feel as bad as I felt when I didn't recognize Street Fighter.
Can you give me a clue?
I'll give you a clue. It's an FPS. Oh, I give it away. No?
That's not GoldenEye?
No.
Is that, no, what is that?
It's an FPS.
From what console?
Give you another clue. Satan.
That's Doom?
Yes!
Oh shit! No way!
It's Doom.
Man, you know, I probably didn't spend enough time with that title screen.
Well, I think this is the gameplay. This is gameplay music. I
Oh,
think.
okay. Yeah,
You're
I mean,
killing demons. with
no.
that
So
song.
what I remember of Doom is, we're going back to the atmosphere stuff. Is just starting the game and it being really silent, and you're hearing the demons like breathe, you know, because you could hear them breathe like
Yeah.
rah, rah, like around the corner. Oh man, that used to freak the crap out of me. This one you're gonna guess, and I know you're gonna guess because it comes from your love of the current genre. There it goes. You're not gonna need a clue. Oh, wait a minute. You didn't play this one. You started playing PS3 because of the gap. Yeah, you didn't play this one. This is like, this gives me chills listening to this one.
What is this? Wait. This is a PS2 game?
This is an Xbox game.
Xbox. Yeah, I've never owned an Xbox.
Yeah.
This is Halo?
Yeah, man.
Oh!
Nice job, man.
Well, it gave me the Bungie feel.
Right? That's what I was going to say. So you
Gave
know
me the
Bungie, you know Destiny. You know, it's this epic, like...
Yeah. And the
Feeling.
voices, and it's kind of dark, but at the same time, I mean, feels like major key
Yeah.
in terms of composing. I'm not really sure because I don't have that kind of ear, but it's interesting how Bungie, the music of Bungie can feel dark and uplifting at the same time.
It's amazing how it does that.
It's so cool.
I think that the violins give it like this, like, otherworldly feel.
Yeah, you feel like a hero.
Yeah, you feel like a hero. Listen to that. Listen to that. That's the title screen. You could leave this running. As a matter of fact, many people did. You just left this running on in your living room. Like, you put the controller down and you just be like, I'm just going to go get a snack. And then nobody would change the channel and it would just be this.
Yeah. Well, there's a big difference. What I was talking about when we talk about history, when we're talking about the history and the evolution of music. You see the difference between the MIDI
Yeah.
music tracks, and then this. It's
Yeah,
like,
I mean, there's
whoa,
no comparison. Yeah, there's no comparison. But it's nice to know that we have evolved this far.
Yeah.
You know, and that part is comforting to me, and it's also like, where can we go next with these songs? You know, with this type of music.
Well, yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Well,
to think.
we're getting into.
Think about virtual reality.
Yeah,
Think
exactly.
about where virtual reality
Exactly.
games are going to take us, and how the music will affect us in a virtual environment.
Well, apply what they did with Hellblade, which is 3D.
Right.
You actually, it's recommended for you to play it with headphones because it's recorded with a technology that's called binaural mics.
Binaural mics.
Binaural
Yep.
mics. How do you say it? Binaural. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
And it actually records in a. It has like a 3D effect to it. Not effect. It actually records in the same way your ears hear.
Yeah.
So it's two mics, same distance or an average distance, like a head. Basically.
I think a lot of games.
And you actually everything around you feel like it's the same way you listen.
Yeah, it's part of
So
the environment.
Your brain
so, yeah.
kind of locates things in your environment. Apply that to music.
Yeah.
It's like, holy
Oh man,
shit.
that's really cool. Like, you could, I mean, think about this, and I know this is far fetched, but you can go to a concert by going to virtual reality.
Exactly.
If they make
Yeah.
a game called Concert, and they just put your favorite bands, and you're in the crowd,
And
I mean,
this-
that would be totally cool.
Binaural mic, it's like a head.
Mm-hmm.
They've recorded concerts with that. You can find
Oh,
concerts
wow. I
recorded
gotta
with
check
that.
that out.
You actually feel in the middle of the stage.
Oh, wow, that's
and
so
the
cool.
guys playing around you.
I did want to clarify something, by the way. I said that the top MMO WoW players play without their music, but that's not the case for top competitive players of every game. There are games that you need the sound. That you need the sound in order to win.
Overwatch.
Overwatch is a perfect example of that. I mean, you can hear the enemies breathing, you can hear their
It's
footsteps.
not an MMO, but
unless you're, it's not an MMO, right? It's a first person, but you need. It's definitely a big part of the success or failure of your character
Oh
in the
yeah,
game.
definitely.
So that was my number 2. What's yours?
Mine. Are we going number 2? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this number 2? Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Is it?
I think you're gonna recognize this one right away.
You
too.
said that every time, and I have failed every time.
Well, you're such a bigger gamer than I am.
I know, but what clearly this is telling me is that me just brush up on my game themes.
Do you need a clue?
Yes.
We talked about this.
Oh,
game.
Last of Us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say the guitar. The guitar is the part that starts playing that scene. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking Red Dead Redemption at first.
Oh yeah, I
But that's why-
can see that.
Yeah.
Which is a great soundtrack.
Which is also an amazing soundtrack and a great freaking story.
Yeah.
Storytelling. is amazing.
But this
right there, I would have
This
guessed
to
it right
me-
there. That twang right there.
this is one of my all-time favorite games.
Mm-hmm.
And the music plays a big part of that.
Yeah.
Of
Absolutely.
being such a powerful game for me. I mean, I get
Yeah, I get goosebumps too.
Yeah.
I talked to Stu, our IT director, about this game a few days ago. We were both saying the same thing. And it's just such a great game. Such a
from
great game.
beginning to end, everything. But the music, it gives, my God, such huge emotions during the game. I mean, yeah, the story is very emotional. It's very deep. The characters are very deep. They're all well developed.
Right.
But the music,
Yeah,
man.
man.
It's like I see Joel and Ellie every
Yeah.
time I hear this. And I hear this is one of the soundtracks I hear casually. As,
Yeah.
You know, I will play any other band.
Oh, I have
Deftones.
something to tell you that you're gonna
And then
laugh.
I'll play The Last of Us.
For my D&D games, you know what my atmosphere music is?
What?
Video game tracks.
Yeah.
And I play Diablo music.
Oh, that's
And
so
it's
awesome.
so amazing because sometimes they're rolling for initiative on a fight, and the Diablo music starts playing and it starts pumping, and they're like, "Wow, this is really great music. Where'd you get this?" I'm like, "This is a game that I play." The Skyrim music, I use it as atmosphere
Yeah,
music too.
so good.
It's so amazing. All right, so here's my number one. It's super easy.
You
Everyone
have
will
the
know this.
honorable mention before number one.
Oh, I do have the honorable mention. So the honorable mention,
We don't have to talk about deeply about the honorable mention, but
yeah.
I just want to know.
My honorable mention is, I'm just gonna play it because it's a hard one to guess, but it just had a big impact on me because when I played it, I just played it so much. This is 1990.
This is definitely fantasy.
Yeah,
It's not Zelda.
this is Slaying Vampires.
This is what?
This is Slaying Vampires.
Is that a clue or is that
That's
the
a clue.
game? Slaying Vampires. Is Castlevania?
Yeah, Castlevania 3.
Oh,
Dracula's
I
Curse.
don't remember playing Castlevania 3.
Oh man, it was so
But
good.
I do remember 1 and 2.
Yes, yeah. So that's great, but that's like the gameplay music.
Yeah,
There was actually no sound, I think, in the first Castlevania theme.
Oh,
Was there a sound?
I don't remember.
We're gonna have to look that one up.
Yeah. Is there I think the song Iron Maiden, I think the band Iron Maiden has a song that's in the game.
Really?
I'm not sure. For some reason I have that in my mind.
Let's see
Good
what the
piece of
Castlevania 1
information.
theme music is. But that's not the theme music. This is wrong. I'm sorry, internet. You're wrong today. Yeah, awesome. All right, so that was my honorable mention.
Okay, my honorable mention is this.
I have 500 honorable mentions, by the way. Link to the Past is another one. Sorry, I had to throw that one in there.
That's fine.
Oh. That's Bloodborne. That's awesome.
I can play over and over and over and over and over and over the Claire Beast just for the song. It's such an incredible track. Okay.
Oh, but let that one ride. Let it ride for like 30 more seconds.
So epic. I'm making the cleric beast sound.
Oh god, yeah, because he's in pain
the
the whole
crying,
time.
yeah.
He's getting tortured.
Yeah. Eternal
Oh,
pain.
My God.
Eternal agony. I
Yeah.
think. Sound over. This is just. I don't have it. I have it as an honorable mention, just because it's a single track.
Right.
But if I haven't played the entire game, so I haven't heard the entire soundtrack either.
Mm-hmm.
But this track just made such a big impression on me that if I feel it's unfair to choose it as a top 5, just because of that. I don't know the entire soundtrack or game, but if I had played the game, this will be definitely not an honorable mention.
Yeah, no, this
would
is
be-
awesome. This is one of the best games.
Okay, cool. Let's go to your number 1
So
then.
my number 1 is super easy, and it's gonna be this one.
Oh yeah, this is World of Warcraft,
That's right.
and
They have
that's a
duplicated this thing.
great number 1.
Yeah, it's just so good. It's so iconic already.
Yeah.
Almost every Blizzard video that you see that talks about WoW kind of like starts with this, and you start with the voice like this, and welcome. You know, actually, when you go to BlizzCon, this music is playing all over the convention center, like through the massive speakers that they have, and it's so awesome. And you know, you have, I don't know what the guy's name is. I guess I gotta look it up. But he talks like this, and welcome. You know, whomever is going to be on stage, and he welcomes them, and it's pretty funny. His voice is pretty funny.
Blizzard,
Mike
does-
Morhaime, CEO of Blizzard Entertainment. You know, I'm like, oh, that guy.
Blizzard does such a great job with their music.
Yeah,
It's just every single
amazing.
game has an epic, amazing soundtrack.
and in World of Warcraft, every zone has the music in some zones. I have literally stopped my character from moving just to listen to the track in the zone.
I actually
Many
recently,
times, actually.
I never played WoW,
Yeah.
and I recently downloaded it because I remembered how great the music of Teldrassil was.
So yeah, oh my god, awesome.
And I
Darnassus
I
music is
downloaded it
awesome.
and I
It starts
wasn't
like that. Broom.
yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So I started playing just because I wanted to listen to those tracks, the ambient music of the world, and I actually spent months and months playing it for work. Like I was working, I needed to concentrate. I used that music as a background. So yeah, Blizzard, it's
Yeah,
amazing
Blizzard
at this
outdid
kind of things.
themselves, and they have remade this track in so many different ways for so many expansions. You know,
Oh, really?
Burning Crusade had a I mean, all of them kind of have this Legends of Azeroth, I think is the name of the track. This feel, in some way, shape, or form. They may start a little different. They may, you know, they have a lot of other parts of it that are composed differently, but they always come back to this part, which is like that part. I don't know. It's just amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, man, that's our top 5.
Well, I haven't said my number 1.
Oh yeah, I don't know. That's my top 5. What is your number 1? Right, you gave her honorable mention. Your honorable mention.
I don't know if you're gonna recognize this one because
Oh, I know what this is because I know you. Is that Nier?
yeah, of course.
That's Nier Automata.
This is Nier Automata or Automata, however you
Automata,
wanna say it. But this is definitely my favorite soundtrack of all time. I still go back to the game not only because it's my favorite all-time game too, but also because I want to be in those environments with this music.
Cool.
I want to revisit those environments and listen to this music. And this is one of the albums too that I listen to casually. Like, I have the vinyl too. So I listen to it casually because it's such a great soundtrack. Talking about what we were, going back to what we were talking about dynamic music also. It's such an incredible soundtrack. They made like 5 versions. I don't know if it's 5, but let's say There's lots of versions of each song. This one is called the dynamic vocals here, and this is the amusement park. It's part of the game, a zone in the map. But there's like 4 or 5 versions of it. One is quiet, one is just vocals, one is this one with everything, one is just instruments. So depending on what you're doing in the area, a different track will play.
Yeah.
And also, there's another character in the game, because you gotta play like 5 times to actually get all the endings and know the entire story. But you first play with 2B, which you get all this music and everything. But then there's another character, 9S, that actually hacks their androids. That actually hacks other robots.
Okay.
How do they call it? AI life form, I think. When you hack into the robots to destroy them, you get into a mini game that's kind of 2D,
Oh, cool.
and a 8-beat track of that song will play.
Oh, that's so fun.
So there's the soundtrack, the full soundtrack of this game is so huge.
Yeah, I can
because
only
it
imagine
includes
how you
all of
described
the different versions of it. So this is just amazing. I recommend it to everybody, even if you don't play the game. I mean, I'm so fucking happy every time I make somebody play this game, because it's. I truly agree with the review online that says this is a masterpiece you'll never play. It's underrated.
Okay.
But
Now,
just
where can I
listen
play this? I can play it on PC and I can
this
play
is
it on PS.
PC, which I don't recommend because I think it was mainly developed for
console?
For console, and the PC has a lot of issues. I don't know if they fixed it.
Okay.
But I played it in PS4.
And that's where you recommend it.
It's such a great game.
Cool,
and
man.
the music. And if you're not gonna play the music, I'll be happy if you get the soundtrack and just enjoy it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna have to pick that one up at some point, because you've sold me on it already. So I am totally sold.
It's such a great game.
Yeah, so that wraps up our top 5, which I guess would really be like a top 10. I guess almost, if you combine your 5 and my 5.
Yeah. And I want to clarify things, because you know the internets.
The internet. The internet.
This is not. We're not saying these are the best tracks.
Yeah.
In gaming history.
No way. I mean,
This is our own personal
Yeah.
taste and our own personal top 5.
Right.
So
And
by
to
no
be-
means.
To be honest, my top 5 6 months from now might be different.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
we know the Mario soundtrack.
yeah, I
is-
love the
it's
Mario soundtracks are iconic.
in the top 5.
We didn't talk about
all
Zelda,
time. Yeah.
but I did say A Link to the Past, but all the Zelda,
Exactly.
soundtracks are iconic and amazing. And there's just so many out there that are really, really
Contra.
good. Contra, oh my god, Contra.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what's really funny about Contra? Deftones has a song named Up, Up, Down, Down, Left, Right,
yeah.
Select, Start. And there are no lyrics on the song. It's just a track with a beat. And if you haven't heard it, it's actually pretty cool. It's kind of soothing. But I wonder if they intended it to be played with Contra, because I don't think the two go together.
Interesting.
Unless you want to chill and just kind of play Contra with it in the background. But yeah, Deftones, I guess their homage to Contra. They made the title of the song
That is
the cheat code that gives you 30 lives.
30 lives.
Well, 29, because you
Well,
start
you said
with
it
one.
wrong though.
It's up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Arriba, arriba, abajo, izquierda, derecha, izquierda, derecha.
Yeah,
AB,
up, up,
select,
down,
start.
down, left, right, BA, select, start.
Yeah. Okay. Well, select start if you're playing if you're co-op with somebody else, because select will be to select 2 players and then start to start the game.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So if you're playing just one, it's just start.
Yeah. But yeah, so
Geeking out Contra here.
yeah, man, Contra was awesome, and the sound of it was also really, really great. One thing, if anybody's interested, we're talking a lot about arcade sounds. One of the things that we're looking at getting even here for where we work, which is pretty funny if you think about it. But we do have a lot of fun here, and we have a real creative environment. And I think every now and then we have little areas for people to kind of de-stress.
Yeah.
And I think one of these machines would be really good. So right now, Arcade 1UP is creating their own versions of all these arcade games.
That's so cool.
They're so cool. You know, you can get an Asteroids machine that has Missile Command, Lunar Lander, and Tempest. You can get a Street Fighter machine with 3 different versions of Street Fighter. You can get the Rampage machine, which is the Midway Classics, Gauntlet, Joust, Defender.
Gauntlet.
I would literally just buy this for Gauntlet and Joust. And Defender's hard, man. Defender's really hard. Rampage, I love too, but this would be my cabinet. $299 for the cabinet.
It's not that bad.
It's not bad. I think for $399.
Full size?
No, it's not full size. It's a little bit smaller than the full size. So it's about 5 feet tall.
Oh,
Okay,
that's not bad.
But it's a good size. It's not small like by the sense of the word small. And you can get a riser for it that puts it up a little bit higher.
Shit.
Yeah,
I want to get that for my house.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this. Definitely get this for my house.
Yeah.
See if we can get one in here. That would be really cool. But I just wanted to give a shout out to these guys for doing something like that because I've been trying to buy one of these things for a while, and I never wanted to spend thousands of dollars on one.
Yeah.
So for them to be able to offer it for $299, I think.
I remember going to eBay.
Yeah.
Trying to
Craigslist.
see, Craigslist.
Yeah.
Trying to. Well, these are even more old school. But I was looking once for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah. Those are tough to
They were
find, man. They're so expensive. Yeah.
So
I was looking for Gauntlet, and I was looking for Golden Axe, and I found one time, but the guy was in like I don't know, like Newport Richie or somewhere really far, and I'm like, and he wanted me to go pick it up. I'm like, how am I gonna go there and pick that up? I mean, I don't have a truck, so. But yeah, so that was just a little shout out to these guys. Want to thank you guys for joining us today, and we'll see you, and you'll hear us on episode 4.
awesome.
Peace.
Take it easy.